Yeah, how's it going, everyone? My name is Earlmeister, and this is the Loremeisters Podcast. Since this is the very first episode, I, Earlmeister, the host of the show, will be the very first guest. That's right, guestception. In the future, I will have a guest every week that I have lined up and prepared for everyone to watch and enjoy our conversations. Now, let me introduce myself. My name is Earl Fabian, and I go by Earlmeister. I've been playing card games and tactic games since I was a kid. I've been a streamer for a few years now on Twitch and have been wanting to do YouTube for a long time. And this will be one of my first series. I've been so hooked on Lorcana since I heard about it from a friend. And once I got my hands on it, I couldn't stop playing and obsessing over it. Before Lorcana, I played a lot of card games competitively. I gave myself a title of a speed climber where I basically challenged myself to climb the leaderboards of all CCGs online, starting from installation as a newbie all the way to the highest rank. Some of the games I played are Smite Tactics, The Elder Scrolls Legends, Hearthstone, Gwent, Magic the Gathering Arena, Legends of Runeterra, Dota Underlords, and TFT. During this time, I was streaming these games for 10 to 12 hours, 7 days a week. And that is how I got partnered on Twitch. It's a partnership program! I also feel very blessed that I got to go to exclusive events from both Twitch's TwitchCon partner party and game dev events where I got to meet some of my heroes, both as a creator and a card gamer, that I never thought in my life I would meet and get to hang out or talk to. I was quite successful with my climbs in CCG ladders, but I can't seem to stick to one game, since honestly, I get burned out pretty quick with them. After staring at the screen for hours, looking at the same cards, playing the same games, I wanted something else. Past few months, I realized what CCGs are missing that TCGs have, and that is physical cards. Collecting cards in real life and playing on a tabletop against another person IRL just hits differently. I realized this as well months before Disney Lorcana when a friend of mine got me into Pokemon TCG. Did I mention the excitement I get from winning packs IRL and opening them with friends and pulling a great card, then celebrating together? How about trading cards with friends and people on my LGS? Lastly, in this day and age, as memey as it sounds, gamers rarely get to touch grass. Disney Lorcana and any TCGs, to be honest, helps me get out of the house and socialize with people and some friends, which has been helping me a lot mentally and physically. Also, I forgot to mention, I am the Monkey King. All right, how's it going, everyone? My name is Earlmeister, and I am the host of the show. And this is gonna be my very first official podcast that I'm doing in my channel. You're gonna see a lot of those F's and P's and B's and V's, by the way, that I'm gonna get mistaken. English is my second language. We'll talk about that later on. Get to know myself a little bit more through this podcast and why I say a lot of ums. But first, let's talk about what is the podcast about. Because that's what you're here for, the episodes of the future podcast when I start bringing in some guests. So the podcast is basically just me bringing in a guest or a group of people from the Lorcana scene, whether it's a developer, it's a gamer, an ultra megatonic competitor, a creator, a YouTuber, a streamer. It doesn't really matter. They gotta be in the Lorcana scene. People that's making a difference in the scene, both competitive and casual. Those are the type of people that we're gonna have in this podcast. And when I have them, we're gonna go ahead and interview them, get to know them, ask questions about themselves, about how they got into Lorcana, how they got into card gaming in general, or gaming in general, how they got into content creation, how they got into game development or artists as well. You know, that's one of the things that I've been thinking, because I do have players and creators already lined up, and they're ready to go. A lot of them have been recorded already. It's just waiting to be published because it's every Sunday that we're going to be publishing this. I want to make sure that it's delivered properly, of course. And we got a group of editors as well that's making this happen. Thank you very much for my team for making this happen. They're really, really awesome people to work with. And yeah, we'll just bring in these people and we ask them questions. Now, I don't really have a way yet of what I want to, or if I want to get the community involved on the questions, but that's definitely something that I think is going to be a lot of fun, but I want to do it right. You know, because I don't want to spoil too much who's going to be the next guest, but maybe I can do it 1 week before the shooting or a few days before the shooting. I'll make a tweet. I'll post it here on YouTube as well. And I can even post it on my Discord. If you guys want to join my Discord, the link is down below. I'll probably post it there. Who's gonna be the next guest, and you guys can ask questions if you want, or anything you want to say that you think would be a cool idea to do with the next guest. So that's something that we are most likely 100% going to be doing in the future. But for now, it's starting. You know, I'm still like kind of like feeling the grounds, you know. I'm still a stranger when it comes to this scene, but I have done my homework. I have invested hundreds of hours before I started the podcast. I'm one of those people that overthinks, you know, like, if I started the podcast, how would I deliver it? You know, how do I create the intro? What questions do I ask them? What kind of approach do I have for this podcast? And I hope you guys enjoyed the first episode. It's going to be out tonight. There's 2 episodes tonight, which is my episode. This one, the introduction for myself and for the podcast itself. And then tonight, we're going to have one with an actual guest, and I think you guys will love the guest that we have. I had a great time interviewing him. It was a really, really cool opportunity. And then, yeah, so we're going to bring him in, get to know them, and we'll also chat about a lot of things about Lorcana. We're gonna talk about the current events. We're gonna talk about the what's happening in the competitive scene, you know, and casual scene as well. I'm a big casual and competitive guy. A lot of you guys know me as more of a competitive person or competitive player, because a lot of my past CCGs or card game that I played, I've been really, really competitive with them, at least in ladder. I have participated in a lot of tournaments as well, but yeah, I'm big on the casual scene as well. I think things like draft or card reveals, you know, or product reveals and stuff like that, or just the main events or current events with the Lorcana in general. I enjoy that. I enjoy that. Even fun things like from art stuff, like what's popping on Lorcana, what's trending on Lorcana. I want to talk about those things. So you don't have to be worried if you're a casual player. This is not a competitive podcast. Although we will cover some of that, because we do have some competitive players that we're gonna bring in. And I'm even then, when I talk to competitive players, not everything that we're gonna talk about are competitive stuff. I just think that's just way too boring. I'm gonna be honest. Like just talking about competitive stuff gets too boring sometimes, in my opinion. Although competitive stuff is also interesting, but I like doing both, is what I'm trying to say. And yeah, that's basically what we're gonna do with the guests that we have in this podcast, and we're gonna have fun with them. And we also have segments. So segments, what are segments are you talking about, Earl? I'm gonna be doing games. I like having fun with my guests, and I've done it with the people that I've interviewed so far. So what kind of games are you talking about? So right now we're doing online ones. In the future, we will definitely do some local podcasts. If I can find a creator that is around me, or if I go to an event, you know, I'll book a session with them, like after the event or before the event. Hey, would you be free for like an hour? I'll have the setup on my hotel or the lounge of the hotel or a room in the expo or convention, an area in the expo or convention. We can do a podcast there. Let's talk about Lorcana. Let's talk about yourself and Lorcana. You know, that's definitely something I want to do with this podcast. But that's a lot of money to bring in people. So right now, I'm going to be reliant on going to events because I'm going to be going to a lot of events. And we'll talk about that a bit more later. But yeah, so I'm going to do segments like, what is the first word that comes in your head if I say this word? Like that type of stuff. Like, hey, you got 5 seconds to answer this question, this set of questions. Answer it now. Or 10 seconds or 3-second segments, you know. And IRL, we're going to do fun segments with them as well, like something that involves physical cards or like physical activities, you know, things like that. It's definitely something that I want to add. I think we can be really playful with those type of content, and I'm super excited. Really, I really am. I've enjoyed the interviews that I've had so far with these people, and I think you guys will too. I try to make it exciting as it can be. And yeah, so that's about it when it comes to the podcast. That's all we're gonna be doing for now with the podcast. I can't really think of anything else. I mean, podcast is chatting about two people, and I'm already adding a little bit more to that. If I can think of anything, or if there's something that you think would be fun, like I think 100 brains is better than one, and I think we can all agree with that. I'm not one of those people that only my ideas are good. You know, I'm not one of those. So if you have any ideas, comment down below. What do you think would be cool to see in a podcast, right? Also, yeah, that's basically it when it comes to the podcast. So now we'll get to the boring stuff, talking about myself. I'm just kidding. So we're gonna talk about myself now. I'm gonna introduce myself, and this way you get to know a bit more about me as the host and as the creator in general. If you don't stop by on my streams, you probably, because I don't talk about myself the whole time on the stream. If someone asks, then I would answer some questions, you know, but that's a long process of getting to know each other. And I think this would be a great way for me to actually properly introduce myself. So my name is Earl Fabian. You already heard that in the intro. I go by Earlmeister. Where did you get that title from? It was just Earlmeister actually came from high school. They named me Earlmeister because I was a crazy kid back then. This is like 13 years ago now. Like, time passed by. I'm 31 years old now. And I was crazy partying like the Stiff Meister back then, and they called me the Filipino Stiff Meister, and they just named me Earlmeister. But yeah, that's how I got my name, and I just thought that I'm just gonna keep it as a username because like I'm used to getting called that already. And yeah, so I'm from Philippines, and I was born there and lived there for 15 years, and then I moved to California, where I lived for 15, 16 years. And Cali, it was a big change for me. I growing up in a farm in Philippines, right, in a little village in Philippines, and then going to one of the most famous place in the world, a very well developed, more civilized area, if you may. It was a big culture shock for me. It was really, really hard moving from Philippines, like what I said, and I had like a year or two in Manila with those 15 years, but even then I didn't like it. The city life. I moved back, but yeah, I moved to California with my mom and my stepdad, which is my dad, is what I call him. There's no step love, right? Unfortunately, he passed years ago, but he was amazing. He raised me, and a big part of me is because of him. He taught me a lot of things, and he was a really, really cool guy. He was an ultra megatonic biker, you know, a big dude with a big Harley, you know. It was awesome. But anyways, yeah. So I moved there. I went to school there. After 16 years, during during my 16 years of stay there, I moved here to visit my biological dad. And I'm in Scotland now, actually. I've been living here for a year. But in the middle of those 16 years, I moved here. No, not moved here. Visited here in Scotland. And I was visiting my biological father. And that's when I got to met my wife. And from there, you know, we fell in love and we started dating here for like 6 months or so, because I was limited. My time was limited here. I did 2 trips here, and after that we decided we're gonna have a long distance relationship for 13 months. It lasted, the long distance relationship, and it was so long. And when she finally visited me in the US, I'm like, I don't know about you, but I would marry you right here, right now, so you don't have to go back anymore, because this is really hard, and I think that you are the one. I think that you know, I know that in my heart and in my soul that you are the person that I want to spend the rest of my life with. So I told her that, and she feels exactly the same way. So while she was visiting for Christmas, I got married with her Christmas Eve, and right there and there we stayed. You know, there's a little bit of back and forth still, going back and forth with the UK, fixing paperwork and stuff like that. But yeah, she lived there for 5 years, and we've been together for basically 10 years now. And yeah, the past few years, after she lived there for 5 years, so it was the process of moving over here, and her family is here. I don't really get to see my family in US that much, because my brothers, they live in Colorado now, so we get to see each other like once or twice a year. So I'm like, what's the difference between living in California and living here? If we're gonna visit Colorado just to see them, right? Then they can just visit us here to see us as well. Yeah, and we talk online anyways and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a big change, you know. This is the 3rd continent now that I'm living in. I started from Philippines to California to now living in Scotland, UK. We're now in Europe, right? Asia, America, Europe. And I always make a joke, like after 15 years, because I basically have 15 years for every single continent. I always make the joke that after Europe, I'm gonna be in Antarctica for the next 15 years after my 15 years here. But yeah, so now I'm in Scotland. I'm finally gonna have my first child. My wife is pregnant at this time of this recording. She's 6 months pregnant now. So we got about 3 months more. I'm having a baby girl. I'm having a daughter. I'm very, 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 very excited. It's an amazing feeling, honestly. It's nothing can really describe it. You know, the excitement of having your own child and a new friend as well, because I'm still a kid myself. I play so much games. I play card games. I play a Disney card game, you know. So like that'll tell you that much about me. And I'm excited to open packs and play games with them. And if she doesn't like Disney, that's totally fine. You know, we can watch anime. If she doesn't like anime, then I'm gonna put her for adoption. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna do that to her. But yeah, she can do whatever she wants. But yeah, I'm excited to have a kid and have a new friend. But yeah, that's basically my whole life history. Of course, there's much more to it, but that's kind of like the quick gist of things. And for my gaming history, I've been playing since I was a kid. My earliest memory was like I was like 3-4 years old when we were playing with like the Ataris back then, the early Famcom or family computer, you know, it's what we call them in Philippines. Those were a lot of fun where you use the cartridges. My earliest memory of a game was Circus Charlie or Charlie Circus. I don't know which what was the proper title. And those bird hunt things, I remember shooting in the TV, you know, and all that stuff. The frog thing. I forgot the name of these games, but yeah, I played a lot of those. And yeah, that's basically my earliest memory of those games. When it comes to card games, I play a lot of like JRPG and RPG, and then when MMOs came out, I played a lot of MMOs growing up. But I did play a lot of tactic games as well. My very first tactic game, I would say, well, the JRPGs, basically they're tactic games, the turn-based one. But the very first proper tactic game that I've ever played, I would say is Final Fantasy Tactics. You know, Final Fantasy Tactics, Fire Emblem, you know, all those gridded tactic games. I played a lot of those growing up. Card game wise, the first actual card game that I played, I remember there was an old Pokemon game on the PC, and this is like 2001. Or 2001. I played that, but I never understood how it's played. But a couple years after, when I got the Game Boy Advance, I got a Yu-Gi-Oh cartridge, because I can't afford to buy the card games in Philippines. You know, I know like I had a Game Boy, but at this time my mom is already in the US, and she sent me a Game Boy in Philippines, and once a year or twice a year I would get a new cartridge. And the way we play games, because we can't afford to buy different games, is you got to know someone from your school or from another village or another town where you can swap games with. Like, hey, I'll give you this for a month, give me your game for a month, I'll play your game, and then we can swap again. And then and then you just keep swapping and swapping and swapping. It's not, we never really traded games. It was more of like, let me borrow your game, I'll play it, and then you can borrow mine. So we did a lot of that in Philippines, and Yu-Gi-Oh was a game that I played over and over and over and over again, because there was a lot of people that won't trade with won't swap with the Yu-Gi-Oh game because no one knows how to play it, and we can't really afford to buy the real Yu-Gi-Oh cards or Pokemon cards back in the days. Although we found some bootleg Yu-Gi-Oh cards, you know, like on the street vendors. And they sell these fake Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and the power level is like 900 billion thousand power, you know? The numbers are so off, and the wordings are so off as well. And you can tell that they're fake cards, very, very cheap cards. But we played that, and we didn't really play it like the way Yu-Gi-Oh is played, because like how are you gonna play that with the way Yu-Gi-Oh is played, right? So what we do is like we would split the deck into two, and then whoever has more stars with the Yu-Gi-Oh cards, you put your bet how many cards you're gonna bet in there. And then I put like 5 cards. I think the right one has more stars. And then we flip it. You got a 50% chance on which one has more. You know, that's how we traded cards. That's how we traded cards and played cards back then. And Magic the Gathering was around already at that time. And there are some people that's playing it. And I remember like we would stand and watch these people play those cards. And I've always wanted to play them. I just can't afford them. So I played a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! When I was a kid, because that's the only available one and probably the cheapest way to go. It was the purple one, the purple cartridge. It was like Soul of Eternity or Eternity of Soul, something like that. I forgot the title of it, but I remember I put in like 1,500, at least 2,000, maybe 3,000 hours on that game. And yeah, so after that, I played a lot of, like what I said, JRPGs, MMO, and I started card games again when I started streaming. The very first game that I actually streamed, the very first game that I streamed was Diablo 3, but it was just a screen. There was no audio, there was nothing. I did it for like a few hours, and if we're going by technicality, but like the first actual stream when I wanted to actually become a streamer was with Smite Tactics: Hand of the Gods. So if you guys never heard of Smite Tactics, you probably heard of Smite before by Hi-Res Studios, the MOBA game, the 3D action MOBA game, a third person. It's a lot of fun, but they had a card game called Smite Tactics: Hand of the Gods, and I played that, so I got into that. I peaked number 1 on the leaderboards at the time of when I was recording or when I was streaming. There was a lot of players still, but unfortunately, after the first major event that they had, I placed like I think I was top 12 or top 8 on that. I can't remember. It's been a long time. I streamed the game a few more times, or a couple more months after that, but the game quickly died. I don't know why, because the game was a lot of fun, and a lot of people think so as well. But then again, that was like kind of like a thing that Hi-Res did back then. I'm sorry, Hi-Res, if I'm saying this. I'm just going by history, and records. And a lot of the games that they made was like, it gets really, really famous and then it dies, like Realm Royale, same thing happened with it. But I give them props though. Smite is still alive. Smite is still going strong. Smite 2 is coming out, so that's pretty awesome. I guess there are some games that just live and they die, and then some of them stick around. And if they didn't do that, they probably won't have Smite right now, And I'm not trying to insult them. It was just I'm going by what was happening, because I did play some Realm Royale after that too. So Hand of the Gods, Smite, Hand of the Gods, I played that a lot, and then we went into Elder Scrolls Legends after that. While I was playing Elder Scrolls Legends, this is where I got the title of a speed climber, because when I was playing it, I was so competitive from Hand of the Gods, Smite, and Smite Tactics. And when I went into that, I was so competitive that I challenged myself. How fast can I go from installation all the way to the highest rank? So I did it in like, I think I did it in like 3-5 days. I did it in 3-5 days. I got to the highest rank. I was streaming like 12-15 hours at the time, to be fair. So you can say like in 3 days worth of time, that would be an equivalent of like a week and a half, maybe 2 for most people, of playtime. And I got to the highest rank. I played an aggro and a mid-grow deck, and usually that's the way to climb fast. And then after that, I'm like, what do I do now? I actually enjoyed the game a lot, so I kept playing it, and I'm like, you know what? Why don't I test myself? How far can I get on the first season? So I believe I got to top 100 on the first season. The second season, I challenged myself, can I touch number 1? And then I actually did touch number 1, and I was challenged. I forgot who challenged me. One of the top players actually in that game challenged me if I can get to finish top 10, because I climbed to rank 1. After that, they were like, okay, you play a lot of the game, that's why you climb rank 1. Can you finish rank 1? And I mean top 10 at least. And I did. I got top 9 finish for the end of the season. And I played some tournaments as well. There were some tournaments where I got to place like top 8, and all that stuff. And after that, the game slowly but surely died. And after that, I didn't know what to do. So I'm like, I did a speed climb here. Why don't I speed climb every card game in existence right now? So I did that on Hearthstone. And this is basically, I have it here noted. So yeah, Hearthstone. Let's see. Hearthstone, I got it 7 days from installation. I got Hearthstone Legend with Hearthstone. And then I did Gwent as well. I did Gwent Pro Rank in 7 days from installation, and I got top 500 in 10 days. I remember they had a tournament in Gwent. That was only top 500s get to join, and I qualified for it, but I didn't do it because at the time I wanted to speed climb Legends of Runeterra, because Legends of Runeterra was coming out. So I did Legends of Runeterra. Let me see. Legends of Runeterra. I got Masters, which is the highest one, in 7 days from installation. This is the time too that I wasn't doing like 12-hour streams anymore. I was doing more like 8 hours, 6-hour streams. I got it in 7 days from installation, and then I peaked in the Americas region, top 27 at the time. And yeah, after that, I played a few more card games. I was partnered with Wizards of the Coast, and I did like a streamer spotlight for a week with them. And I climbed, during that time, I climbed from installation. It actually took me 9 days. Magic the Gathering was probably the longest one that I had to climb from installation to Mythic at the time. And I think the reason why is because it's not a brand new game. The other games was much easier because it's a brand new game. It's a level playing field for all of us. But I remember once I got to the highest rank, or close to the highest rank in Magic the Gathering, I started getting my ass kicked. I still pushed through, but I started getting my ass kicked by more seasoned players. Because Magic the Gathering, it's been out for a long time, you know? And as a new player, you know, I'm still proud that I got to the highest rank that they had. I didn't play anymore after that. From time to time, I would go online with it, you know, just to play for fun. I mean, like, I didn't, like, competitively, like, climb anymore after that. But that was fun. That was a lot of fun. And yeah, after that, I was kind of like in limbo. I didn't know what to stream or what to play anymore, so I would go on Legends of Runeterra here and there, and I would compete in some of the tournaments there, but I didn't really know what to do. Like, none of the games were bringing me joy, and this was during the time as well where me and my wife decided that we're gonna move over here, so things got busy. So during that time, I'm like, maybe I should take a break from card games, which I did. And the last, like, 6 months ago, or no, 4 months ago, before I started doing Lorcana, that's what I was doing. Is the break that I took is basically I played a lot of MMOs. I played a lot of MMORPGs. That was a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it because I have a big love for MMORPGs and RPG games in general. Baldur's Gate 3 is one of the best games of all time, and Elden Ring as well. Those are fun. I enjoyed New World as well, and there's more titles that's coming up. But I've decided when Lorcana came out that, like, this might be the card game that I'm looking for, because the thing about CCGs, that, like what I said in the intro, that they don't have the physical aspect that maybe added a lot of spice, which it did, you know, because this is probably the longest card game that I played where my interest, and I know, like, inside me, I'm not gonna get burned out anytime soon, at least for the next 5-10 years, you know. It's just fun. Having physical cards is fun. Going to events is fun. Going to local events is fun. You know, I'm enjoying that a lot. So I think that's what's missing, and also it was very unhealthy. I was living a very unhealthy lifestyle, being inside a room, the studio for 8 hours, 12 hours a day, you know, and I do that like 5 to 7 days a week. You know, it depends. When there's a new game, I do like 7 days stream, for a few weeks. And yeah, I think that's what's missing. And now I'm very, very happy, you know. I also played like other games, like I played TFT. I climbed TFT as well. I also competed in Twitch Rivals and TFT on TwitchCon. I got first on the first round. Second round I fat fingered. I got second, but unfortunately it was not enough for me to move on to the other rounds. You need to consistently like win first at the time. And I played Dota Underlords as well. I was Lord of the White Spire there. That's the highest rank that you can get, and then from there you get to like top 500, top 300. I forgot what peak I was. I'm 100% sure I was at the top 300, top 200 players of the game. And then I played Naraka Blade Point. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that. It's a battle royale game, but it's a hack and slash battle royale game. That was a lot of fun. I top 39 peak on the leaderboards for solo in EU servers. That way you don't just say, oh, you only got to the leaderboards because you were an NA Earl, the easiest server in the world. I, I think that's like a big joke. Maybe in League of Legends it is, but with other games, I pretty much think that like once you get to the top 100, top 50, everyone is the same in the world. Yeah, I got to top 39 peak in EU for Naraka. But this all started, I forgot to mention, this all started because of Overwatch. That's how I got into to thinking that maybe I have a future in gaming. You know, I was playing with my PlayStation 4. I remember I was playing a lot of Overwatch, and I was climbing pretty hard. And then I realized, like, you know, I wonder if there's like a website where you can see the leaderboards or rankings. And then I saw that I was playing a lot of Lucio at the time. And I saw that I was the number one Lucio in the PS4. I don't know how reliable that Overwatch site is, but yeah, I was number one with my stats, and I'm like, you know what? Why don't I try this on PC? And I didn't have any other hobby than playing PS4 at the time, and I had disposable income, so I bought a decent PC, you know, got a monitor, and I started playing there, and I was climbing as well in PC, and I'm like, oh shit, like maybe I do have a future in gaming. So I joined a bunch of teams, a bunch of, I didn't get into any orgs, but I got into a lot of like the top independent teams, you know. And the thing about that is, like, every time we joined a tournament, we would usually kick some butt up until like playoffs, and then or up until like you get to like the top 8, top 16, and then from there we never finished number 1 ever, or even top 3, because we are like stepping stones for like teams like Team Liquid, Dignitas at the time, you know, like all those teams. This is before Overwatch League was out, and then I'm like, I need to get into an org. How do I get into an org? And I realized I didn't have any social media presence, so I'm also getting tired of the teams that I was in. It's very hard working with a team when you don't have a proper org that's handling you. There's no mental help, you know, from a coach, from an analysis and or analyst, or anyone in the team that will put everyone on the same ground, you know, so the DPS player don't think he's the shit, that he's the only one that's doing stuff in the game. Right, like taking away all the credit from the support and the tanks. You know, they never get any credit. It's always the DPS, right? It's always the DPS. The unsung heroes are the supports and tanks. But yeah, I wasn't like happy with what I was doing anymore. Team games is very hard to make it work. Like I said, unless you have like a social media type of stuff, or you get discovered somehow, you talk to other like big players, you know, and you get discovered, and then you try out, you know, for a team, then you get in. But yeah, I never played in any of the orgs there, and that's when I started my tactics. I'm like, I'm just gonna play single player games. I'm gonna stream them, and I had a lot of success doing that. So as a streamer and as a competitor, that's where I found a lot of success. But yeah, that's basically like the gaming history. I've been talking for like 15 minutes about just that part, and how gaming became my career. That, like what I said, started with that, and I'm still doing it right now. I'm investing a lot of Lorcana. It's really scary when you're moving from a genre to another genre, or even just a game to a game, you know. You definitely will feel it as a creator, but I'm in here for the long run. If there's a title that I think is worth investing on, but it has to be something that I enjoy as well at the same time, I think this is it. This has an ultra megatonic great potential where I can put in a lot of my time for happiness and as a job as well. And yeah, this is where I'm putting my thing. My future plans for Lorcana. What are my future plans? So the top priority for me is doing this podcast, and at the same time, I want to be a host or a caster. I think I could be a good caster. I can bring in the hype. I think there's a lot of things that's missing in the card games scene. And a lot of people will probably hate me for this, but this is also what's going on with the League of Legends scene in the beginning of League of Legends in the West, is that the casters were super, super boring. And I'm sorry if you're one of those casters. It's so just like they're narrating what they're seeing. They would do some analytical stuff, you know? And I think that's cool. You definitely need one of those, but they don't have a hype person. I think in card games they still are missing that. But in the Western scene for other tournaments, they definitely have that hype now. Because the thing is, like, this goes way back from StarCraft in Korea or the fighting games in Japan, right? When you I don't know, I'm just like imitating like the way they kind of like sound, is that when you watch that, they're like, you know, they do that, and they don't do that on the Western scene back in the days, and now they do, and I'm super happy that they do, because like I watch League of Legends still, the esports scene, and it's freaking amazing now. It's so exciting to watch. The way that the casters get hyped, I freaking love it. That's exactly what I'm looking for, and I think I can bring that in the card game or Lorcana in particular. I think I can bring that in Lorcana. I'm competitive enough, you know. I've been like placed high on most tournaments that I did. I actually just joined the Theus tournament, the online one. The first one I played, I placed 24 with a 6-2-1 record. The second one was yesterday. I almost made it to top 8. I was top 12 this time with a 7-2 record. And local tourneys, I'm usually first or third. I think I'm competitive enough that I understand the game in a deep level, but also I have that hype. I have the excitement stuff, the energy that I can bring. You know, if I can get rid of my I know are my worst enemy, and that's because English is my second language. But you know, you can get rid of that through practice, and that's why I usually would write a script for my YouTube videos. But obviously, this one I have kind of like a set thing that I'm following as we talk about this, and I just explain as we go, or I just talk as I go with what I'm doing. But usually I would have a script. But yeah, I can get rid of that. I really would want to be a caster or a host or an interviewer for Lorcana events. That's my main priority. Now, if I don't get any spot for that, because I feel like they would get other people for that already has. Already have things in their resume, you know, that they've done this in the past. That's most likely what's gonna happen, I'm assuming. But if I was ever given the chance, I would definitely do it. I think I can do that. I'm confident enough to do it. And going forward, if I don't get that spot, whether I get that spot or not, I'm gonna keep creating content in YouTube at the very least. I want to slow down on my streams. I want to focus more on YouTube, and I already am. That's why we're doing this podcast. If I don't do that, then I'll probably do YouTube, and at the same time, I'll also be a competitive player. I'll still compete. You know, if I don't get there, I enjoy competing as well, but if possible. If possible, I really would want to do casting, hosting, and plan B is competitive / content creation. That's basically my future plans for Lorcana. And there's a lot of like with creating. I don't think I'll stop that even if I was a caster. I have so many ideas that I want to do. And I already am putting some of it into action, and we'll get some more in the future. But yeah, we've been talking about this for 40 minutes now. I wanted to keep this around like 30 minutes or 20 if possible, actually. But I just kept talking. And I hope you guys enjoyed this this episode. And yeah, the first episode is coming out tonight. And I hope you guys enjoy it. The Loremeisters Podcast, make sure to follow our other socials down there. If you guys can click that subscribe button, the notification bell button, and you can comment down below your questions, all of that stuff. That would be great. I've been talking a lot. I didn't realize that I can talk about myself for that long. Man, you are so self-centered, Earl. No, I'm just kidding. but yeah. That's basically it with this podcast. I hope that you guys enjoy the podcast with the future stuff with the guests. I think those ones are a lot of fun. I personally enjoy doing the interview and talking to these people. Is pretty fun, and I watch the episodes myself. Like I enjoy it as well. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. I'll see you guys around, and peace out. Take care. Bye-bye.